Hey there, it's Kay, and I want to thank you so much for joining me for today's budgeting video. Today I'm going to be starting up my April budget. So today I'm going to be setting up my monthly calendar, sharing my monthly estimated numbers with you guys, and I got my first paycheck, so then I'll be going over the real numbers from my first paycheck. So let's go ahead and get started. And I, for some reason, messed up when I was printing April's sheets. My printer doesn't do double-sided, so normally I have to do everything manually. And so my sheets are kind of all over the place, so at least the calendar is going to be correct. But I have paycheck 2 here, and then paycheck 1, and then the monthly is in here, and it's just a little bit of a disaster, but it's going to be okay. I just really didn't want to waste the paper, so now I'm all zoomed in. So the first thing I want to do on my calendar, I've already pre-dated everything, so I want to add my fixed expenses first, and I have 7 of them. So I'm gonna go ahead and start. My first one is Spotify, and that is $5. That's always due on the 1st, and it's on auto pay, so I don't have to worry about it. And then next I have my phone bill, which is through Sprint. That's $54, also on auto pay. That is usually on the 10th. It looks like the 10th is a Sunday, so it could process early or could process late, but I'm obviously going to be leaving the money in my account for that, so I won't need to worry about that. The next bill I have is my car insurance, which is through Safeco, and that is $133, due on the 13th. And then I have a tuition payment through UMass Lowell, and that's $50 a month on auto pay. That comes out on the 15th. And then I have my Adobe Creative Cloud, which is $30 a month. That tends to come out on the 26th. That goes here. And then I have my rent, which is my portion of the rent that I split with my partner. It's $821. That is the fixed side of it. So we only have 30 days in April, and it's a weekend, so I'm going to probably want to pay this Thursday. And then also I have utilities, which are paid in tandem with my rent. They're paid through the same portal and stuff. But the amount on the utilities does vary slightly, so I'm going to leave that unfilled. I do have an estimated amount that I think that they're going to be, but that'll go on the monthly budget sheet. So there's all my fixed expenses. Next, I'm going to mark my paydays. I have some stickers that I want to use up. So I'm only going to be using 2 paydays in April. Well, technically I'm using one for March. I get paid here on the 30th, which is going to be my paycheck 1. Which is why I'll be able to share those numbers with you guys today. And then the other one that I'm taking in is going to be on the 13th. I'll also receive one on the 27th, but that's going to be paycheck 1 for May. So these are the 2 incomes that I'll be working with. The other thing I like to do with my calendar during the monthly setup is color code my spending trackers for my variable spending categories. So I've pulled out these colors. I have tons of unused trackers from previous months that I've been hanging on to, and I'm trying to use those up before I make new ones. So I pull these out from some previous color schemes, and I have 5 variable categories that I track. One of them is cash. It's my laundry, and that, like, the money that I take the cash out of the bank and I like load it on my laundry card. So that is just a little bit different. But my other categories, allowance, food, pet, and transportation, are going to be tracked and color coded. So I definitely want to use, since this looks like it has the most trackers, I usually have the most like transactions in food, like multiple transactions throughout the month. So I think I'm going to use purple for food. And then allowance, I don't normally have like that many transactions on. Also pet, I don't really have that many transactions on either. I'm gonna put pet yellow. And then that means transportation will be pink. So I'm gonna go ahead and just add my key in here. That way when I do the next update and I share my variable spending, I have my little color key here. I'm gonna grab one of my fixed expenses stickers, and I'm actually gonna throw it on the side for laundry so that when I do fill it, I can mark it off here. And I think that's all I really want to do for the calendar spread here. So I'm gonna put all my stickers aside here, and we'll move on next to the estimated monthly budget. So I want to say that's like towards the end now, next to like the debt tracker, because these are all out of order. Yes, all right. So let's get going on the estimated numbers first before I share some good news and good progress off of paycheck number 1. So I have my estimated numbers in front of me that I drafted up before I got my first paycheck. So I only estimated income from 2 sources, one being my regular day job, and then I also had some rollover from February. And so the rollover is $90, and then I estimated an income of $2,000 from work. So that's an estimated $2,090 in income. So I'm gonna zoom in actually a little bit more. All those fixed expenses that I had just put on my calendar spread, those all go into my fixed expenses box here. The only difference is that on the calendar, I left the utilities unmarked for the value. I am estimating $107 for the utilities for April. So this brings the total estimated to an even $1,200. I did that on purpose. So then that's going to leave me with $890. So down to variable expenses. I did mention in my second March update that I know that I was going to have to cut some of my variable expenses, especially now that my income has been reduced and is pretty fixed now. My regular categories here, I had to figure out a way to where I can like realistically reduce them and hopefully stay within like the constraints of them. It's going to be a little tough to get used to, but I have amounts that I think are going to work out pretty good. So, starting with allowance. My allowance, I've always kind of varied it slightly, but I used to give myself about $20 a week for like $80 a month. I'm definitely going to be reducing that, and so I have a goal of reducing that to $50 for the entire month. The food budget has been very, very high. Obviously, there's tons of like inflation and stuff that I can't really compete with. The only things that I can do to help cut my food budget is less eating out and more meal prep, and just eating a lot of like leftovers and stuff. So I think what I estimated is I think I can cut my food budget down to $225. Like, I think that's gonna be the best I can control for now. And if it still doesn't work out for me, then I have other categories that I think I can pull from to make up for it. But that is the reduced amount I want to be working with. I've normally worked with around $325 a month roughly, so I am cutting it up about $100 from what I normally do. So it's going to be interesting to see how that works out for me. Another category that I'm cutting is laundry. Laundry, I'm gonna cut down to $20 for this month. Normally, I've been putting like $40 on it, so that is a 50% reduction. I think I'll be fine on that, honestly. Next, we'll move on to pet, and pet is something that I don't think I can reduce too much. It would be really hard to reduce, because like pet food is another inflated item, and my cat has a very special diet that he has to follow. And so the only thing I can really do to help save on pet costs is to make sure that I'm buying in bulk and trying to find deals on things. So normally for pet, I do like $80 a month. I think I can squeeze $70. That's what I have here in my monthly notes here. So I think I can squeeze $70 because I just need some food and some litter for him. He's got plenty of toys. I actually overspent on pet last month. So he has some newer supplies like litter mat and stuff. So I should be able to squeeze the 70 for this month. And then transportation, which I previously called gas. I call it transportation now so that it also includes when I have to pay tolls and I don't have to separate them. So I kind of like lumped it together in one category. So total for transportation for gas and tolls for April, I estimated $35. My car is in the body shop right now getting worked on from when it got hit back in like January. So I'm in a rental and it is a lot more gas guzzling than my hybrid. So for my car, if I knew I was going to have my car for the whole month, I actually probably would have only done $25 because I'm not really driving that much anyway. But because I have this other car that I'm going to have to return with a full tank, I'm going to do $35 for the month. So this puts my total estimated variable expenses at an even $400. That number was also on purpose. So that's going to leave me with $490. So basically, when I was calculating these and what amounts that I think I could work with my variable, I was keeping in mind the fact that I'm moving, and I was really trying to see on my newly fixed income, like what is possible for me to afford and like rent and stuff. So that's why I had these. 'Cause I was like, these numbers, in order for me to also be able to save and pay debt, like this is like the very, very max that I think I should be handling. So let's move on over to savings, which I'm not going to do a whole lot of. I don't want to do a whole lot of spending this month because I got my tax return in March, so I was able to put away a ton of money into my sinking funds and everything. So I do want to continue to save just a little bit at a time because I do feel like a very important part in avoiding going into debt again is being able to build savings, especially for the things that can get you into debt in the first place. So my total goal would be to probably save about $100 a month roughly. And my camera fund is full, my car register fund is full, and my school, I'm not planning on adding money. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 funds that I'd like to be able to stuff. And then if I put like $20 in each of them, that's like $120. So I think that sounds more than reasonable. So then 490 minus 120 is 370. So that'll give me $370 to make a really decent extra debt payment on my Nelnet B. So that ideally is how I would run my budget. Obviously these are estimated numbers and I have my first paycheck so I can run some real numbers. I'm going to take this out for now so that I can use it as a side-by-side here. So on the monthly budget, I estimate $2,000 on a 2 paycheck month, meaning each paycheck should be about $1,000. And then I'm going to take the February money in, so I'll have 1,090 is the estimated. And then normally off the first paycheck, I like to pay all of my auto pay bills. So basically everything except rent and utilities. So these all total up to $272. I estimated $1,090, so minus $272 is $818. Which is good because I can fit my variable in here, which I like to do on the first paycheck as well. So estimated $400, $818 minus 400 leaves the $418. So what I'll also end up doing off paycheck 1 is fitting in my savings, and then a large majority of that extra debt payment should fit in. So I'm going to take that in. So it's a $418. So after the sinking funds, I ideally would have had $298 to go to Nelnet B off the first paycheck. And I know the handwriting is getting kind of messy because I keep bumping into these discs. I'm already and they're on the right side right now. So those are like the estimated numbers based off the monthly budget. But like I said, I did get my real income. So I'll go through and share what I'm actually going to be able to do here. So I had estimated my work income to be $1,000, but I ended up with quite a few hours of overtime across the past couple weeks. So after taxes, I ended up with $1,267. So I got paid more than I budgeted for, which is awesome to see. So I'm going to add that to the $90 rollover from February. And that's going to give me $1,357. So that's really exciting. Now all of these bills are on auto pay, so all of the exact amounts here are going to come out. So the $272, when we take that from the $1,357, that leaves $1,085. Now, if I wanted to be extra cautious, because obviously I am playing with a lot smaller room for variable spending because I have the excess income. If I wanted to, I could fiddle with the amounts here, but I really want to challenge myself to try to stick to these values, so I'm not going to change anything. Hopefully the change isn't too drastic for me. So I'm going to commit to these amounts, and let's see if I can do it. So we're going to take the 400 from the 1,085, we'll leave 685. And I'm going to carry that number up here into savings. So basically where I'm at, I have a surplus of $267 of income. And do I want to save it, or do I want to pay it towards my debt? I did not draft this paycheck budget. I'm actually literally going through the numbers right now with you guys. The only thing I had drafted was the monthly budget. So I think because I'm being really bold in trying to cut my variable spending, I want to err on the side of caution with my savings here. So since I have the room for it, I think I want to double my savings goals that I had. So everything will get 40. And that'll bring me to 240. So 685 minus 240 would be 445. So I'm going to take the 445 and put that into Nelnet B to just zero out the budget there. And then that way, in the event that my Paycheck 2 ends up being short, because Paycheck 2 is basically only going to cover rent and utilities, and that in itself is like approximately $930. So on a $1,000 paycheck, $930 of expenses, that leaves a very, very slim wiggle room. So in the event that I come really, really close, at least I have my my extra debt goal done, I have extra savings in, and I should be pretty safe from there. So thank you for watching me get started on my April budget. I have some very risky plays going on here. It's what I have to do because I did make a very risky job change and restricted my income. So that's pretty much the best that I think I'm going to be able to do so far. Obviously, I am a little bit ahead in the game based off of Paycheck 1. Paycheck 2 should be okay. Last week I did work a full week and have PTO on top of that, but this week that I'm working right now, I don't have that many jobs, so it might just even out and just barely squeeze by. But I won't really know for sure until I get that paycheck in. So on the next April update, I'll have paycheck number 2 for you. I'll have some spending check-ins for you as well. And since we have some time before my paycheck 2, I'll be able to close out March's monthly budget with you guys for one final March budget update. So stay tuned for that. And I hope to see you in the next video, and I hope to see you down in the comments. Thank you for watching. Have a good one. Peace out.